Hey guys, welcome to Tour Truck Tuesday. Chris Trott here. I work out on the tour for TaylorMade, but obviously this week you will not find me there. It's the week of Valspar, and unfortunately, due to circumstances, we're not out on the road. But I want to educate you guys on something. I get a ton of questions on Instagram about fitting and about what shaft is right for me and about what spin rate is right for me, what setup should I have, and I just want to talk about some of your responsibilities as the golfer, as the player going into that fitting. Obviously fitting's a tough task. On tour you have a limited amount of time to ask that player what they want, but it's also return business. What you must understand, when you walk into a fitting suite, you're going to be nervous. I get it. You need to settle yourself. That's job number one. Go in there, find your environment, relax, put your shoes on, get your glove on, stretch. Talk to the person giving you the fitting, but most importantly, get yourself comfortable. You're going into this environment and it's not about hitting balls. It's not about repeatedly banging them, hitting the driver as far as you can. And trust me, when that TrackMan monitor gets on and the ball speed gets going and you get flowing, that's what you'll be trying to do. But your responsibility as a player is to walk out of that fitting as much as the fitter is trying to help you with the right setup for your game. So how do we do that? As we go in, take in a history of what you've used. That's the first thing. Now I've got some clubs in front of me that I've had a lot of success with over the time. M5 was a great driver for me. Last year's product, and this Ventus Black worked well for me. I want to take you back though on a journey going as far back as 580. I used to love super stiff in the tip golf shafts, very light. Graphite blue would have been my shaft of choice. As we've moved on in time and as we've evolved, and this brings me to the second point of having the fitting, I listened to those around me. I gained an understanding of what was the right ball flight, what was the right feel for my game. And I worked into this Acra TZ6, which is a lot softer in the tip section than a Graphite Blue, than even a Ventus Black profile. And as I then worked between a golf head that I liked and I knew was dialed for me, as it will be dialed for you after a season of using it, I quickly learned when going into the sim how I was going to set this driver up differently to my M5. So again, think about this. Bring it back to you, the golfer, going into your fitting. Right there, there's information. There's golf shafts that you like. There's a history of shafts you like. Going back as early as early 2000s for me with the Graphite Blue. I knew I liked that driver shaft. I knew I had success with it. I knew I liked the 580 head, the bigger head. You can use that and you can help the fitter to help your game. Same applies. Take in some old clubs. Look at this. This is a Rocket Balls. I keep this in the garage because I love this golf club. I absolutely loved everything about it at the time. I still do. It's one of those clubs that I keep as a benchmark. You can give this to the fitter and you can say to him, this is the grip thickness I like. This is the grip length I like, so they don't overstretch them for you. This is how I like the grip to be worn. I posted about Ricky Fowler having a new Golf Pride grip that has the buff gone. I like the grips when they're like this. Now again, that's stuff that I know about myself. This is a Aldila DVS. They don't make these anymore. Really soft in the tip. Super soft. But the truth is, if I hit this club now, it actually goes too far. Because again, I know more about my golf bag setup and I know more about launch conditions with the driver. With the 3-wood. If I want to hit 3000 spin rate off the tee, this club does that. But as I've become to play in different parts of the world, now living here in California, I use 4 wedges. So I know that getting in a shaft that's a bit heavier, this Link for me, I've got it in the 80 gram, touch heavier, I'm playing the Sim Max with more loft. This is a 5-wood that I'm playing with more loft than that 3-wood, and it hits a gap in my golf bag. And to ensure it hits that yardage, I cut the shaft down a little bit more than this one. So again, I've got a rocket launcher of a 3-wood that was great, but now I'm trying to hit a yardage. So I work with that. And again, yeah, look, I work out on the tour, I have access to all this, but you can take it to your fitter and you can help educate your fitter in what you like. Keep in mind the type of golf ball that you use when you're having these conversations, because they all impact spin rates. and make sure that you tell him where you play. Do you travel? Do you play links golf? Do you play in the deep bunkers that links golf gives you? Or do you only play heathland or parkland golf? Do you play coastal stuff? He needs to know that, because that impacts then the type of golf shafts you play. AMTs, that's what I'm using now, because it launches higher in the long irons. I grew up on links golf. Very difficult to get a 3-iron and a 4-iron in the air for me, because I'm used to keeping them down, because I grew up on coastal golf, yet I find myself here now. All information that you have to pass on to the fitter. Then we're actually in the fitting the fitting itself. Remember, you've got to this point as a golfer, remember you're an athlete. The amount of times I've fit players that are not in golf, their primary sport might be soccer or baseball or football over here in the States. Those guys, you have to tell them, listen, you're an athlete. You know that if you have a free kick in soccer, for all the English listeners, football, react to the target. Don't just stand there and go, okay, what do I do again? Okay, well I get in these positions and I get there and I try and swing it this way. React to the target, be an athlete. That's the other thing that you must do. It's easy, like I said at the top of this, you get into a fitting scenario, you pull the ball, hit. No, stop yourself, manage yourself, it's your responsibility. The person at the other end is going to be trying to get you into equipment, but you must manage yourself. Pre-shot routine. Pick targets, often difficult to do. When I used to work at the Belfry back in the UK, we would open the shutter doors to the fitting centre. It'd be a huge driving range in front of us. But the first thing that I would do would be to try and create a golf hole. And you must do that. Hopefully the fitter will go through that with you, but create the golf hole. And understand that if you hit fades down there because you're now being an athlete, that's going to spin more and it's going to launch lower. And if you hit high drawing bombs, you may get more speed due to the release, but it won't spin as much. So have your numbers where they need to be. Obviously, and I'll put them up on the screen, you can look at different fairway conditions and driver numbers that are right for you with, say, a 160 ball speed, which I imagine most of us are out there. More spin as you decline in age is going to help the ball stay in the air. If you're not as flexible, if you're carrying an injury, all things as a player that you must tell the fitter. And go in there telling them where you want your game to go. Be realistic. Yeah, we all want to be Ben Hogan, Nick Faldo, Tiger Woods, the greatest players out there. We all want to be those people of every generation. But be realistic with your goals. Have a handicap goal, a club champion goal, a US amateur mid goal, mid-amateur, anything that you're looking to achieve. Have them, talk to your coach before you go in. So in summary, obviously you've got to enjoy it. Be realistic. Pick targets on the range. Act like an athlete and bring any golf clubs that you have had mountains of success with. Be it for me, the Tensei Blue in the 65X, all the way down through to this Acra that I've enjoyed, and even my old faithful rocket balls, which now is the true rocket balls and goes too far for where I play. It's just important that you give the fitter the information. They will be able to do the best. The best from there. These guys are superb experiential reps, and they'll talk you through it and they'll get you into some of the greatest products this season that can help your game. We're all looking forward to getting back out there. I know I can't wait. If you like this content, then subscribe. Obviously, I'm way more active on Instagram, but if there's anything you want to hear on here, if you've got any questions, subscribe to this one, write the questions in the comments below, and I will put these videos up weekly for your Tour Truck Tuesday fix. Anything you'd like to see me talk about, I'm here for you to get through this, to keep our golf optimism going through the summer months until we all return back to the PGA Tour. Thanks for tuning in.